So, we all know the Duggars, right? The family with 19 kids? Michelle and Jim Bob were basically the poster couple for having massive families. But hold on to your seats because one of their sons is literally breaking records that even his own parents couldn't manage. I'm talking about Jed Duggar and his wife Katie, and when I tell you what they've accomplished in just 4 years of marriage, you're going to be shook. Seriously shook. But first, and this is where it gets absolutely wild, let me paint you a picture. Imagine having 4 children all under the age of 2 at the same time. Can you even comprehend that chaos? Because that's exactly what happened to this young couple, and honestly, I don't know how they're even functioning as human beings right now. Now, you might be thinking, Julie, come on, the Duggars have always been about big families. And you're absolutely right. But here's the thing that's making my head spin. Jed and Katie have actually outpaced Michelle and Jim Bob's early parenting timeline, and that's saying something considering those two basically made having tons of kids their entire brand. Let me break this down for you, because the math is actually insane. In January of this year, Katie and Jed welcomed twin daughters, Emma and Elsie. Cute names, right? But here's where it gets crazy. They already had a 3-year-old son named Truett and a 2-year-old daughter named Nora. So for several months, this couple was dealing with 4 kids who were all 2 years old or younger. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how absolutely bonkers that is? I can barely handle my skincare routine some mornings, and these 2 were managing 4 tiny humans who probably all needed diapers, bottles, and constant attention. I'm exhausted just thinking about it. And get this is actually something that Michelle and Jim Bob never accomplished with their first 4 children. When their 4th child, Jill, was born, their twins Jana and John David were already 1 year old, and their eldest son Josh was 3. So technically, they never had 4 kids under 2 at the same time during their early parenting days. Michelle and Jim Bob did eventually have 4 kids ages 2 and under, but it happened later in their baby-making marathon. Josiah was still 2 and Joanna was 1 when twins Jed and Jeremiah were born in December 1998. But the key difference here is that this happened much later in their parenting journey, not right at the beginning like with Jed and Katie. The whole family recently appeared on Jinger Duggar podcast, the one she does with her husband Jeremy. And let me tell you, the conversation they had about family size was absolutely fascinating. Katie herself admitted how crazy their situation has been, saying, "We've known each other 5 years, so when we look at it like that, we're like, wow, this has been crazy." Even Ginger, who's no stranger to the chaos of big families, was like, "That's insane." And honestly, if someone from the Duggar family is calling your family situation insane, it's next level crazy. But here's what really caught my attention during this podcast interview. And this is where you need to pay close attention because it reveals so much about their mindset. When Jeremy asked if they were planning to add more kids to their already overwhelming brood, Jed's response was pretty telling. He said, "We're just praying about that." Now, if you've followed the Duggar family for any length of time, you know that praying about it is basically code for we're probably going to have more kids, but we're trying to sound spiritual about it. It's their go-to response when they don't want to commit to a definitive answer, but also don't want to say no to more children. Katie, however, seemed a bit more realistic about their current situation. She stressed that they would love to just enjoy the kids we have right now for a good minute. And honestly, good for her. She acknowledged that they're in an insanely busy season, which is probably the understatement of the century, especially because they currently have 2 infants requiring round-the-clock care. She described it as all hands on deck at all times 24/7. And I mean, can you imagine? I get overwhelmed when I have to edit videos and respond to comments in the same day, and this woman is managing 4 tiny humans who can't even tie their own shoes yet. But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets really interesting. The couple revealed that they ultimately want 5 or 6 kids in total. So even though they're currently drowning in diapers and sleepless nights, they're still planning to potentially add 1 or 2 more children to their chaos. I have to admire their optimism, honestly. Or maybe it's just sleep deprivation talking. Either way, they're clearly committed to continuing the Duggar tradition of large families, even if they're doing it at warp speed compared to previous generations. And can we talk about how they're handling all this media attention? Because being part of the Duggar family means your every move is scrutinized by fans and critics alike. These two are navigating new parenthood while also dealing with the public's fascination with their family size and choices. That's got to add an extra layer of pressure to an already stressful situation. Speaking of media attention, I found it hilarious that they felt the need to clarify that they didn't name their oldest child, Truett, after the Chick-fil-A founderess, Jed Katey. Like, that's such a random clarification, but I guess when you're part of a family that's constantly analyzed and theorized about, you have to shut down weird rumors before they gain traction. And while we're on the topic of Duggar baby news, let's not forget that Jed's older sister Jessa is currently pregnant with her 6th child and due in July. So the Duggar grandchild count is just going to keep climbing. Michelle and Jim Bob must be over the moon with all these grandbabies running around. It's fascinating to watch how each of the Duggar children is approaching parenthood differently. Some are spacing their kids out more, others are going full speed ahead like Jed and Katey. It really shows that even within families with strong traditional values, there's still room for individual approaches to family planning. But let's be real for a second. Having 4 kids under 2 is no joke. The physical, emotional, and financial demands must be absolutely overwhelming. I mean, think about the practical aspects. 4 car seats, 4 high chairs, potentially 4 cribs, endless loads of laundry, and don't even get me started on the grocery bills. And then there's the sleep situation. With twins who are probably still waking up multiple times per night, plus a 2-year-old who might still have occasional nighttime wake-ups, when do these parents actually sleep? I'm genuinely concerned for their mental health and well-being. But maybe that's just their normal? Growing up in a family with 19 kids probably prepares you for chaos in ways that those of us from smaller families can't even comprehend. Perhaps what seems absolutely insane to the rest of us is just Tuesday for them. What really strikes me about this whole situation is how it highlights the different approaches to family planning within the same extended family. While Jed and Katey are going full throttle with their baby making, other Duggar siblings have taken more measured approaches. It's interesting to see how individual personalities and circumstances influence these deeply personal decisions, even within a family culture that generally encourages large families. I also can't help but wonder about the practical support system they have in place. With Michelle and Jim Bob as grandparents, plus all those aunts and uncles nearby, there's probably a lot of built-in help available. That extended family network might make managing 4 young children more feasible than it would be for couples without that kind of support system. So, what's next for this rapidly growing family? Will they stick to their goal of 5 or 6 kids total, or will they get caught up in the momentum and keep going? Time will tell, but one thing's for sure, they're definitely making their mark on the next generation of Duggars. Before I wrap up this video, I want to hear from you. Have you ever known anyone who had multiple young children so close together? How did they manage it? And what do you think about families who choose to have children so quickly? Are there benefits to getting all the baby years over with at once? Or do you think spacing them out makes more sense? Make sure you're subscribed to my channel because we're going to keep following this story as it develops. I have a feeling there are going to be more surprises from the Duggar family in the coming months, and you know I'll be here to break it all down for you. Also, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Duggar family dynamics, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm and lets me know you want more content like this. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss when I drop new videos. Thanks for watching, beautiful souls. I'll see you in the next video where we'll be diving into even more celebrity family drama. Until then, keep living your best lives, and remember, whether you want 0 kids or 20 kids, as long as you're happy and healthy, that's what matters most. Love you guys.